Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about Oprah Winfrey, someone I actually did not expect I'd ever be talking about simply because, I don't know, I just never think of her generally, did not grow up with her, have no reason to really, or so I thought. I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but Twitter has been bringing up a lot of old situations, and granted, I know we talk about this pretty often, but bringing up old situations is one of those things where sometimes it makes sense because there's some old situations like murder, sexual misconduct, where, you never really just get past it and move on. And then there are older situations which are just scandals that nobody really should care about like a couple of years later because they're stupid. In this case, people have brought up Oprah Winfrey in regards to mainly her behavior a lot of the times on TV, on her show, in front of people. So we're not really talking about necessarily just behind the scenes tomfoolery. We're talking about recordings from the late 90s, I think some are even late 80s, that show her behaving in some type of way which has people worked up. So I figured we could look into that. You guys can let me know in the comments down below if you guys are mad about this shit, if you think this is blown out of proportion. I'm not really sure why specifically it's coming up right now. A lot of the explanations I saw seemed pretty vague. Regardless, here we are. Now, there are two articles I really want to refer to give us the rundown. Per usual, they'll be linked down below. So I think the one we should really just get out of the way is in relation to Harvey Weinstein, Pizzagate, all of the stuff that happened in 2020, which somehow feels like 10 years ago and also like yesterday all at once. Needless to say, she is one of many, many, many celebrities that were connected in some way via pictures in public or whatever to Harvey Weinstein. Now, in this article, in fact, there is a picture of her looking towards Harvey Weinstein. As we well know, Harvey Weinstein was convicted of so much sexual deviancy, misbehavior, misconduct, whatever we want to call it. So any type of association with him is automatically very alarming. That being said, it's hard to think of a lot of people in Hollywood who somehow didn't cross paths with him. So that alone to me is a little bit murky just because we don't know. If they were like really close friends, I guess that would be a different story, but it's not like we're ever going to know the answer to that. So in regards to Weinstein, it says on March 7, 2018, during Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop podcast, Winfrey claimed she had no knowledge of Weinstein's alleged sexual misconduct. Weinstein had been accused of previous sexual harassment or assault by more than 60 women, according to CNN. Winfrey had previously worked with Weinstein, who was credited as executive producer, blah, blah, blah. Winfrey described her association with a convicted Hollywood producer. Was I friendly with Harvey? Yes, I was friendly with Harvey. Was I in association with Harvey for the Butler movie? Yes, but of course, I didn't know any of this was going on. Now, I'm not going to focus on this one too much, not because it's not important, but it really just would be speculation at this point. There is literally nothing to build off of, so I'm going to leave that there. You can make up your mind. So, next thing, like I said, her conduct on her show is really a big part of all of this. Now, there is an interview with Dennis Rodman. I found a clip of it. Hopefully, it doesn't get copyrighted.
Okay, so
that don't mean that I'm gay.
okay,
or
that's the
bisexual.
next question coming
No,
up here.
no, I'm not
Are
gay.
you're not gay?
No.
Now, you did say earlier that when you were a little boy, we're looking at that little picture of your little ears spread on there, that you were worried about your sense of sexuality, growing up in a house with all females.
I think that's a true statement on my part because, I was very scared to be around guys and boys, little boys, and I didn't know how I would fit in because I was so shy and to myself. So.
But you are not gay. You're saying to me you are not gay.
No,
and if you were gay, I believe you would tell me.
I think so.
I think so. So, are you bisexual?
No.
You're not bisexual?
No.
You do say you don't have to applaud or not applaud. Okay, you do say in this book, you say that maybe in your mind you are.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
I can float with the idea.
You can float with the idea.
Here, basically, she continuously asks Dennis Rodman if he's gay. Now, if you ask once on a talk show, I don't really think that would be weird because, I mean, at the end of the day, talk shows or whatever the Oprah Winfrey show is considered as, they want ratings. They want, I guess, a good level of scandal. They want people to watch, right? Duh. I don't think any of us have any belief that they're doing this for charity reasons. So, my light just died. I am going to lose my fucking shit today. I swear I am being tested. a lot of other things happened. This would not push me over the edge. It's interesting because she ends up asking Rodman if he's gay like 70 times over and over and over. And it's very bizarre behavior from the outside. Now, granted, there could be some context here that is missing for me, but any question that you're pestering people with, unless we're talking about like criminal allegations, which you should pester people if there are criminal allegations, I don't really understand the point, especially with something like sexuality. It's also someone's choice, right? It's not really something that most people are just willy-nilly going to share. So once you ask them and they say no, or they don't want to answer, to continuously ask is just uncomfortable and weird, because at the end of the day, if someone's attracted to men or women, I really don't know what that changes. And if it changes something, they should be the ones to decide, okay, I'm going to say this publicly on television. So I find that bizarre. And maybe it was also a time thing. Based on how culturally we change and adapt, certain behaviors were quote unquote acceptable at a time. That doesn't mean they were right, but it means that there was a common behavior. Just like when I was in 7th grade, people saying, oh my God, that's so gay, was a way to say that something was silly or stupid. I'm pretty sure no one at that time actually meant it homophobically, but people still said it. So I don't know if this was something along those lines, that it's just kind of like people were doing that. And again, it doesn't mean it's right. And especially as an adult and someone on television, we would like to think the standards are higher, but then again, here we are. So the one that bothers me the most, and this is because of a personal bias, so just to be very clear, is her interview with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Now, I used to really, really like the Olsen twins when I was younger. She has them on the show, and it was pretty notorious since early on enough in their career, which, by the way, I saw a thread about the Olsen twins on Twitter. I need to fact check a lot of what I saw on Twitter, but if you guys want me to talk about that, I'll look into it further, because some of the things I saw about the Olsen twins' career and what they went through seems like a lot. But regardless, they go on the show. I'll put in a clip if I don't get copyrighted.
Okay. I know there's a new rumor that's recently surfaced, has really upset you, right? You know, the one about eating.
Yeah, people are going to write what they want to write. We try not to read the good or the bad, because it just kind of comes with the territory. Either you're too fat, you're too skinny, and people are just going to write what they
What size are you, by the way?
Size?
Yeah, I always like to know.
I'm really sure.
You're not sure?
Girls, and
that's so interesting. That is so interesting. I'm like obsessed with size, and you're like, I really don't know.
They go on the show, and Oprah asks them what size they are, which in and of itself, I find that, I don't know if it's the right word, but kind of inflammatory, because it seems like you're trying to trigger something. To be clear, when I say trigger something, I don't necessarily mean to trigger the Olsen twins, but rather to trigger something even in the audience. Like, you want the Olsen twins to say that they're size whatever, and you want everyone in the audience to be like, oh my God, that is so thin. You know what I mean? It's like you want a kind of response, whether it's the audience, whether it's whoever you're interviewing, you want to trigger something. And that goes back to what I was saying about the ratings. You want the kind of scandalous nature of, holy shit, this bomb was dropped. So I'm not a fan. It would be like knowing that someone has an issue and not addressing it with a level of sensitivity and asking them stupid things about said issue. What is the purpose? It's just those kinds of shitty gossip magazine type details that you're like, nobody really needs to know this, and I'm pretty sure nobody cares. Like, what are you gonna do? What now? So in the asking of the size feels very much along those same lines of, this is just a shitty question to ask that has no purpose other than having people be like, oh my God, they're so thin. I think that she tries to get away with it by saying, oh, I think about my size all the time, because Oprah Winfrey was also made fun of and judged for her size, right? I don't know. It didn't come off as genuine to me. I could be wrong. And again, here I am biased because, as we well know, I've reiterated it like 90 times, but as someone who had eating disorders, it just doesn't seem like a significant detail to bring up if people are not there to specifically discuss that. There is more in terms of people discussing backstage experiences, so on and so forth. And I mean, I could go on forever about all of that. And I think most talk show hosts probably have something like that. And that's not to defend Oprah, but it's just like, how can we really confirm that as opposed to clips I could actually at least show you somewhat? Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. I was just checking social media to see if there was some common thought or prevalent thought of Oprah's a fraud, we love Oprah, whatever. Most people seem to agree that Oprah is kind of a fraud, and honestly, I don't particularly gravitate towards her, but I don't gravitate towards a lot of show hosts because they just seem slimy. Most of them to me seem slimy as hell, to be honest. I think that about a lot of people in the business, and I have to wonder how much of it is you're actually that way versus the business makes you that way. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let me know if there's any scandal I should discuss if I ever make a longer form video about all of this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.